Hey YouTubers, so today, or I should say this segment of it, I'm going to be working on the fuel lines, a couple other miscellaneous things. I need to start focusing on the braces that'll hold the engine at the top side to keep it from rocking back and forth, give it a little more strength and structure. I should spend some time cleaning, but I'm probably not going to clean because every time I come home, spend a few hours out here and try to get it done, some stuff done, and I don't bother cleaning, then pretty soon I got a huge mess. So that's what the focus is now. Okay, one of my focuses is before I get the axle installed, I have the rotor sitting in here to show you something. On this brake setup, you can see it. Okay, see the light right there? That is the air gap between brake pad and rotor. Other side, same thing. Now on this brake system, and brake systems is something I know very well. Did that for the company I worked for 23 years before I changed positions. And it's actually two separate calipers. It looks like one, but there's no passageway here or on the bottom side bridge. So I have a line coming in here, a line coming in the other side, and it works the two pistons on each side. The master cylinder, or I should say the pair of master cylinders, are not actually master cylinders. On a master cylinder you can take the caps off, step on the brake or push the piston in, and through a series of valves it will not allow fluid to come up through here. These are basically modified style of a wheel cylinder. If I compress it in this side and this is off, fluid comes out. So bleeding it is pretty tricky. I have to get all the air out of here, purge the whole system, and then keep no air going in here, because when I step on this or compress this in for the one side, this is for the other side caliper, it presses fluid into this brake line or the pair of them and runs to the caliper. So if I take and build a shim, if I can get the light in there, in that air gap, not in the air gap, no that wouldn't work, and space this caliper or brake pad out away from the piston, that'll decrease the air gap, increasing the height of the pedal. And it's not a bad pedal, it's just that what I'm going to be doing with this cart, with this motor, there, it's solid there. I want it to be much higher since I'm putting a little more power into this cart. So that's the project I'm going to work on now. So there's my idea. Piece of steel, plasma cutout. I'll have to go on the back side of the brake pad. Now there's a pin that bolts into this, so I'll have to make the hole big enough in here that the sleeve and the spring can fit through there. We'll see how this works out. Okay, there they are, pre-drill. I got the center, or the holes center punched all the way around. I'm going to be using something called a roto broach. It's basically a metal hole saw. The tip end is spring loaded, and this shaft holds multiple different sizes. Yeah, look at this mess. I got so many different projects from out the week scattered out. I got a little bit of lawnmower jobs scattered out, but this is the tool here. You can change these ends out, and that spring-loaded piece, once that hole, or once the hole is made with this little cutter, it shoots that piece flying out the end. And you can get them from 1/4 inch. Well, you can probably get them bigger now. I've had this kit for probably 25 years. 1/4 inch to 3/4. That will cut one serious hole. And I actually used that when I made that switch box for the cart. I just tripped over the stupid pieces for it. And there's the bolt that I ended up cutting off, and here's the pieces that come flying out. And you can cut pretty thick stuff. I've cut up to I think 3/8, no, 1/4 inch. But it leaves those things. Alright, get to drilling. If you're not careful when you're drilling this and you don't center punch it deep enough, it'll wobble off to the side. Let's see what I can do. And there's the camera, there it is. That end piece stays in there sometimes, and you usually have to use a pair of pliers or something and it'll pop right out. And that one flew right out. Don't know where it went. Well, that was no easy task. I actually was able to use only one, I put 2 in there, and I end up with a little bit, well, I can barely move the brake pedal. Let me show you the amount of gap that's in there. I would say about a 1/16 of an inch each side. I go any more, I may end up with a little bit of drag from brake pad to rotor. And at this point, the brake pedal barely moves, so I'm gonna call that good. Alright, so I'm back at it. Got the chains on, and I've had this one on for a little while. I just put the chains from the jack shaft, which is where the centrifugal clutches are at, down to the axle. Oh yeah, I got the axle in, put the left side wheel on, wheel and hub on. I can't do the right side because the exhaust has to be modified because the tire sits right about here. So I've got to cut this off, put an elbow back to the exhaust. I pulled fuel through the carburetor and gave it a start. Wow, it's loud because I don't have any muffler on it. And then all of a sudden it got really, really loud. I mean, really loud. And what happened is I didn't bother. Yeah, there's something missing there. A hose clamp to clamp on the expansion chamber. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on, then I'll maybe put some makeshift exhaust on it and start it for you. I got all the fuel lines hooked up. I don't have a throttle cable on here. I got a jumper box hooked up to it. I'm going to give it a start, and I got a couple different mufflers here. I'll cheesily strap them on and see which one sounds best. Water pump on. This one is the exhaust that came on this cart. It sat back on the bumper like that. I'll have to cut this cone at the end, take off this water line spit, put a U in here back to it, but it will sound yeah, that looks good. It'll sound like that. That's a little bit piped down for me. I'm liking the thought of this one because it's a different. Doesn't fit so well on this one, but it'll give you an idea. And this one will allow me to put an elbow on here and kind of run it straight out the back. I kind of like that idea. This was a muffler we used on another CX500 bobber build that we did in Enduro. We tried cutting it down because normally it was about this long, but it doesn't fit back in there, so I'll have to do some TIG welding on that to get it to fit back and look right. But this is what she'd sound like. So lots of different sounds from the different exhausts, so that's what I'm working with. So other than the exhaust, I don't know if you noticed when it was running, the back of this thing hopping up and down. I have to do the bracing, which will put some bracing between engine and seat mount on this side, and probably, I'm thinking the jack shaft mount and the seat mount. My original plan, where'd that brace go? There it is. My original plan was to go from seat mount, if I can get it to stay on there, seat mount straight to this bolt. Well, I didn't take into account the expansion chamber, so now I'm going to have to change it, and wherever I put it, because the engine's going to want to rock back due to the torque, and I really don't want to put it on a bolt that's a 10mm head. I may end up coming clear up to the head bolt. I'm not really keen on that one. I haven't decided. I don't think I'll go to the exhaust. The other side's pretty easy because I've got a solid point here to mount. up to the seat bracing. You see the seat brace is triangled, so there'll be lots of strength in that. So it's the engine mounting, exhaust, and then I got to run a throttle cable. I think I have an extra ski cable. If not, I'll go out and rob the one off my ski. And that is about it, other than air and tires. I do need to build a vent tube for the top of the cap. For the time being, I may just drill a hole in it. Alright, well that's where I'm at. I just finished the throttle cable on the thing. Got the routing nice. Had to trim off a bunch from the jet ski throttle cable, which used to be a hand throttle. And I ended up running a little bit of shielding right here just to kind of protect the open, what would be open center portion, which is the cable. A good response. I've actually started it and utilized it. Works good. A couple things I'm concerned about. Whether that radiator in the water system is going to keep it cold enough, and whether that brake system right there is going to stop this thing good enough. Only time will tell. I just finished up on the engine bracing. What I did is took some seat brackets from carts in the past, and to make them work I had to have a bolt go this way through this one and this way through this one. And the problem is all the bolts and the way the holes face would all be going the same direction, so I had to put them in a vise and twist a little bit to get what I was looking for. That's the one on the left side. The right side, I used one of these heavily curved ones, and it had this crease right in the middle from being dropped on, something being dropped on it or whatever, and it ended up with a little bit of a kink as I twisted it right here, because the crease is right here, and that's how it ended up. But I went to the top of the head. The bolts that hold the cylinders on are these two, these two, these two, and these two. These ones here are just studs in the top of the cylinder. Figure they're about the best ones to go to. So there it is. All I got left is cut this cone off and this water spit that actually shoots water into here to give water for the baffles in the water box, quieting it down when it's in the water. I don't need this, and I definitely don't need this link, so I'm going to cut it off here, put an elbow, and come back to my exhaust. Okay, so there's sort of what I'm working with. Why can't this work out? Everything else has. My plan is to take this, piece of metal, sharp one, set it in that manner, which means I'm going to need one heck of an angle once I cut that into the cone, and I'm hoping to make that out of that bend and maybe a combination of another bend. I don't see another good sharp one other than clear back here. Oh no, actually there's two of them here right together. Looks like I'm using those. Well, got to cut that up, mock it up, tack it, and see how it comes out. Okay, well there's the exhaust pieces tacked in. I got yarded the expansion chamber off and get that welded up. This piece here slips together, so I'll have to put another one of these risers on here on this side, put a spring there to hold it together. And then I put on the rear factory, or I should say original bumper, or just bar. It's rubber mounted down here. Anyways, I put a bracket on here to mount the exhaust. I got to get the tail cone on and get it welded back up, and I should be pretty much ready to try to run this thing on the pavement, road, whatever. Just won't work on grass or gravel very well.